understand India's anti-satellite capabilities and what really is it that has happened today. Let's get right to it. Let's cut to our iPad and bring you the details. Now, India has two types of anti-satellite systems. The first one is the Advanced Air Defense System. Its speed is at a Mach 4.5. This Advanced Air Defense System has a strike zone up to 30 kilometers of the altitude. At the same time, the Advanced Air Defense System's main purpose is that it's an anti-nuclear ballistic missile shield. So it creates a shield capacity for India. It was first tested in 2007 against an incoming missile, and at the same time, it has an active radar system which can track up to 200 incoming targets. So that's the number right there. 200 incoming targets can be intercepted by the Advanced Air Defense System. At the same time, this particular system was tested against missiles at 15,000 kilometers to 20,000 kilometers altitude before now as well. The second system that India has is the Prithvi Air Defense System. That's the one that's been used today. But before we get to that, let's understand the speed is a Mach 5. At the same time, the Prithvi Air Defense System has a strike zone of 50 to 80 kilometers above Earth. So this is a high altitude system. Remember, the previous one had a strike zone of about 30 kilometers. Then the PAD system is once again an anti-nuclear ballistic missile shield. It was tested for the first time in November 2006. This system is for exoteric targets. Let's understand really what exoteric targets are. Remember that the missile defense battle space is divided between intercepts in the atmosphere, so what is called endo-atmospheric, and out of the atmosphere, so what is called exo-atmospheric. So what this really does is, if we were to look at this particular missile, in fact, would be able to target anywhere in this particular part of the airspace. This is what we're looking at. So basically, the PAD system missiles are capable of completing missions outside the Earth's atmosphere. So this is what makes it very unique for India. At the same time, this is designed to take out missiles fired between 300 to 2,000 kilometers away. So that is the range that we're looking at. We will, of course, be explaining this in detail as well. Like I said, it will be taking out, it can take out missiles fired between 300 to 2,000. And at the same time, it has an active radar system which can track 200 incoming targets. So those really are the two systems that we have in India. Now let's shift our focus to what happened today. Mission Shakti. We will try to explain this. Now, the system that was used in Mission Shakti is the Prithvi Air Defense System that we just spoke about. Remember, it has a range between 300 kilometers to 2,000 kilometers, and it can track up to 200 active missiles in one go. Now, the hit speed of this is 2 kilometers per second, or Mach 5. That's what Mach 5 translates into. At the same time, the target satellite was in a low Earth orbit. So it was between, it was around 200 kilometers. That's the range within which the target today was. Right here was the target. Now, of course, let's talk about the method that was used. Now, a method known as kinetic kill was used in this particular mission that we carried out today, which was, of course, very important for India. Let's understand what really is the kinetic kill. What really happens in this particular sort of a method where satellites are destroyed is that the satellite will hit its target in the opposite direction. So let's assume that this right here mark is the target. So it will hit it from the opposite direction, and therefore that's how the satellite then, that's how the target, of course, gets destroyed. That's what happened today. And of course, the navigation of this is radar homing. What really is radar homing? This is simply put a missile guidance method in which the missile contains a radar transceiver and the electronics necessary for it to find and track its target autonomously. So that really is the major aspect here, that it is an entirely autonomous function that it's capable of. Now, what really happened today? We monitored this entire mission through radar tracking of the satellite as well as the interceptor. So, of course, we were tracking the satellite. Let's say that's the satellite. So, that's what we were tracking. At the same time, we were also then tracking the debris. Now, remember that when a collision must have happened, let's say it hits it right here, a collision happens. So, of course, there is debris. So, there was radar tracking of the debris as well to know that the mission was in fact successful. That's what happened today. At the same time, there is also thermal imaging of the impact and the debris. So, of course, all of this that has happened in the space today has been caught through thermal imaging. Now, this is a very important point. What happens to the debris? Because remember that the range was up to 200 kilometers. So, a number of active satellites are there in the atmosphere when this was happening. So, it's important that when we hit a particular target, the debris does not go ahead and destroy any, not destroy, but really hit any other satellite of any other country in the airspace. So, of course, major care was taken on this particular aspect, and therefore the entire debris burnt up in the atmosphere. That's what happened. Now, two very important points. What really happens is that the energy of the impact is what destroys the target satellite. So, this is a very important point that we need to focus on. It is the energy of the satellite which is destroying the target, and not explosives. So, no explosives were used in this mission, and that of course becomes another highlight. That was a little bit of an explainer of Mission Shakti from our side. So, India has achieved a great feat today as far as space power is concerned. Let's understand what this really proves. Now, our space shield, in fact, has been proven today. What does this mean? In terms of our anti-satellite capability, let's understand what's happened today. Now, the Earth orbit, the low Earth orbit is up to about 200 kilometers. Okay, so that's the range that we're looking at, and there are about 800 active satellites in this low Earth orbit that we've marked out for you right here. After our mission today, we have proven that we have the capacity to take on any of these active 800 satellites within a 200 kilometer range. That's what's been proven today. But that's not it. Let's move on to our anti-ballistic missile shield. Understand this. Let's take a look. Let's keep this as the center. So, if we're focusing on the Indian heartland as the center, we have a capacity of intercepting, of tracking missiles that are coming our way between 300 to 2,000 kilometers and taking them down. So, that of course becomes our anti-nuclear missile capacity. Now, let's move on to, of course, the next aspect. What really then is our ballistic missile reach? That, of course, also becomes very important. Let's talk about the Agni 5 here, which is one of our most advanced missile systems. That has a range of about 12,000 kilometers. So, again, once again, if we take the heartland, the mainland of India as the center, just as an explainer for our viewers, it has a capacity to reach 12,000 kilometers. So, that really is our ballistic missile reach. So, while that's what we're capable of doing in space, let's move on to the last aspect of this. When we come to what our capacity is underwater, we're talking about the K4 submarines that India has. Remember that the K4 submarines can be used from any ocean. So, if we take the Pacific Ocean, let's say, as the starting point, if we take this as the middle point, it has a range of 3,500 kilometers. So, with all of this, of course, India has now proven its space shield.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.